Welcome everyone to the Garage of Curiosities. In today's video, we'll be working on this excavator here. We're going to be working on this Bobcat 100. So what we need to do is we need to change the travel drive oil on this side and on that side. So relatively straightforward. I've already got my oil here, and this one I already cracked loose. I thought it was going to be trickier than expected, but it was actually pretty easy. All you really need one of these here. Alright, so these funnel drives are pretty straightforward. You gotta find what oil type you need. In this case, this thing is actually one of the oldest, I guess, mini excavators that hit the US market. So, or one of the earliest. And it'll actually probably be the star of several videos. So, but I've done some work on it. And I pretty much used it all summer. A couple of friends of mine borrowed it too, and so it hasn't been in the shop, so there's a lot of overdue maintenance. So we're just going to start with this. And so what we'll do is we'll crack these loose with a fancy 8mm. If you happen to have a Bobcat 100, it will be the same. If you have something else, no idea. Crack both of these loose. One is the drain, one is the fill. Now, this excavator is very interesting. You know, there's honestly not a lot of info on it. Let's see if the oil looks ready. Money shot. Ooh, that looks shiny. Focus. Focus. Oh god, it fucking stinks too. Can we focus? Oh, it smells delicious. It actually almost smells like transmission fluid. We'll let that drain. Yeah, that final drive has seen better days. Okay, now, once it's done draining, I've already put the bottom plug in, and then I did put a little bit of new engine oil in the top to try and flush out some of the grime. So, because once we do the other side, I'll show you how bad it looks, but it's not the greatest. So now all that you really do is a nozzle or a tube or somehow get oil into here until it drips out. So. The manual that I have seems to call for an abysmally small amount of oil, which I think is incorrect. So really, or I'm just not looking at it correctly, or there's no documentation for this. So it doesn't matter. This is how these work. It's just like with lawnmowers or other pieces of equipment that have, you know, like a differential maybe or similar. So I have a funnel here. I know you can't really see it, but you know, I have a funnel here, and then I'm just going to fill it up until it starts kind of dripping out of the top. So the problem is it does feel a little slow. So we are going to try and be careful. I don't like wasting oil. So, but with how much I think we pulled out, I think we actually maybe I'll move to the other side where the lighting's better. There you go. With how much I think I moved out, well, oh, we're probably probably got to do like a quart. So, and this could very well just take a while. This funnel is not the greatest. Not a big fan of it. Something like that. I mean, it's not going all the way in there where I want it. So, I mean, I think it's just, it can't make that like sharp turn. So I know it ain't full. And yeah, I don't know, it calls for, this did not smell like oil when it came out, but it calls for like just straight up 30 from the 80s. So who actually knows what that could actually, who knows what that could be. I think the oil's going in, not dripping everywhere. So I think we just gotta keep it like this and keep filling it up. Just add some more in here. That might be close. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to document the hours on when this was done, and then we'll go around and probably do this again, maybe like mid next summer. This final drive, or this travel drive right here, I'm fairly certain is original to the piece of equipment. The one on the other side looks like it was replaced. I had the back covers off earlier, and it certainly looked like, I mean, they're different colors, so one of them was replaced. And I mean, the one on the other side has a Reman like brand sticker on it, so I'm assuming that that one was replaced at some point. This one looks to be original. Now, since Bobcat doesn't make any parts for this anymore, your only source is aftermarket or a rebuild or a junkyard, which where I live, there aren't any junkyards around that would have heavy equipment. So, something like that. I think we're almost there. So you're kind of on your own. For parts, but that doesn't stop me yet. Are we weeping yet? It's hard to tell. I think we might be. I think we're close. I don't want to be short, especially with all that metal that just came out. So rather have it overfill and then dump some oil on into the pan than think I'm full and then, you know, just kidding, you're inch or so short still. So, but yeah, this oil stinks. I think that is now full. So I don't actually know what it could be. It almost smells like it would be like a transmission fluid. It's very stinky. All right, cool. So we'll move that out of the way. We'll let that drain for just a hot second. Should have worn gloves. Oh well. I need to get a pair. I need to get some more rubber gloves. Yeah, okay, so I think that's good. Yep. Okay, so we'll pop that back in. You could look up the torque specs for these, but as long as it doesn't leak, I'm not really too concerned about it. So we'll do this. There we go. Okay. Then what we'll do, just to clean the surface a little bit, is we'll spray some brake clean on it and then just wipe it down. And that'll help us out to find any features if we, for some reason, think it's leaking. And there we go, one side down. So now what I'll do is I will go meet you on the other side. All right, so it's pretty much drained. I got the socket out, the hex bit, whatever you want to call it. So this one looks pretty good, so we're not going to worry about getting it completely empty. Normally what I would do, if I'm feeling lazy, is I'll let this stuff drain overnight. You know, I'll come out like on a Saturday and, you know, start the draining process, and then, you know, unless I need it for some reason, let it sit overnight and call it a fucking day. Oh, ooh, that was bad. Oh, son of a gun. Shoot. All over my hands. Okay, well, that's why we Normally would have a hand wash station back here, but hey, it's winter. So not when it starts to get cold. All right, now we'll fill her up. This one doesn't look too bad, so big thing is I chewed up those threads a teeny bit trying to get the socket out, so hoping it seals correctly. I mean, it should. Absolute worst case, I can flip the travel drive around and then remove it from the top without having any oil come out. So here we go. We'll pour this one in. I already documented the hours. We have 5,800 hours on this thing. My assumption is it's probably more like 15,000 hours, since the hour meter only has 4 spaces. Actually, technically it's 5, but one's just a normal, like a 1/10 of an hour or whatever it is. So, but while this thing's draining, otherwise all the work that I've done so far is this final drive or travel drive blew a line on the back side of it, so that's been replaced. That had to have been custom made. The fuel line has been replaced. It was pretty rotted out. The fuel filter, or the water separator, whatever it's called, that was also replaced. The oil pan's been resealed, and the valve cover gasket's been resealed, and I don't know, there's a few random pieces on the valve cover. I don't really know what they are, but those have been replaced too. And otherwise, this thing's pretty much been a workhorse since I picked it up. Last year I built this shed with it. So this is a pole barn, and it pretty much dug out every single hole and then some more. And then it's been at a friend's house for his shed pretty much the entire summer. So honestly, I don't even know how many hours were on it when I bought it. I should have documented it, but I mean, you know, whatever. And then all the fluid's been changed at least once, except for these. I never did the travel drive. And for the swing disc or circle disc, whatever they call it, I don't know how to drain the oil out of it, but I did put new oil in it. So otherwise, all the hydro oil's been changed. The engine oil's been changed, new filter, new air filter. Now this. So, but you know, this will be the star of many videos. So there's, now that it's kind of back at home, a few things that need to be done. Keep topping this off until it's full. I think it's really close. So I hope the light's okay. I got one of my little shop lights here. What I need is I need to get a tripod for this thing so it can sit up higher too. We're almost there. Maybe. Come on, just a little bit more. I think that's probably good, but there's only a little bit more in this funnel, so we'll pump it in there and see how much comes out. Almost. Gosh, I hate this funnel. All right, sweet. So the top of the funnel's empty. So now if we've like pulled this out, yeah, I would say that's probably good. Okay, so put that up there. Screw this thing in. Go. Tighten this one down. Go. Nice and snug. All right, blast this with some brake clean. Just Wipe it down. See, there we go. Sweet, and I think we're all done. Okay, so now you're back up here. So first, I mean, you can just, I mean, some of that's obviously the kind of the brake clean and the fresh oil, but you know, it's a little hard to tell from this, but it's definitely sparkly. So that ain't good. But here's the old 88, 87, whatever it is. It's got a Japanese engine in it, because this actually was a Japanese excavator that I believe Bobcat just bought the rights to and to sell in the US and slap their sticker on it. So everything's metric. The whole thing is metric. It's okay. It's rusty and crusty and leaks everywhere. So what we'll be seeing in future videos is this needs to be fixed. This leaks very bad all the way down at the base. So this, I think the swing arm, the swing joint, swivel joint, whatever they call it. I think it's hard to tell if it leaks down here. In fact, here I got a light. It's hard to tell if it leaks down here or if it's just dripping from the swivel joint up here. But all the bushings and all the pins need to be inspected. Some of them are okay, and then some of them, you know, we come over here at like the bucket, and I mean, it's maybe hard to tell. I mean, the whole excavator is moving, so there's a lot of slop in these joints. So maybe, I mean, you can just see some of those gaps where grime's gotten in. The bucket has a hole, which I think must be covered in dirt right now. It's got one somewhere, so maybe we can see it off of the back. Oh, I don't know, it's somewhere. I think maybe it's down here, but the bucket's got a hole. That should be an interesting fix. The blade sinks, and I don't think it's supposed to. So that's got to be fixed. And I'd like it if the door closed. So right now it's held on by a bungee cord. On the interior, we're not going to really do much. The heater doesn't work. It keeps blowing a fuse, and then when I redid the water pump, the lines to the heater pretty much disintegrated because it runs off of the cooling system. So pretty much disintegrated, and I didn't feel like buying another 10 feet of coolant hose, 10, 15 feet of coolant hose to run there. The gauges I just fixed, they were pretty finicky. In fact, we can go look. They were pretty finicky. So you'd have to smack them a few times, but they do all work now. So maybe a little hard to tell, but it's 50, 58, 40. Yeah, the gauges all work, and then so this should be fixed. And then the one thing I want to do is this thing does support a one attachment, and so we need to add a thumb to it. So we can see the valve there. And the spool valves, apparently one of them has an attachment, like an extra valve for an attachment. Spool valves leak, or it's a line. I don't know. I think there's an access panel. I haven't taken the access panel off that way. I can see it on the underside. It's leaking. So, and then one of the tracks, I can't remember which side. One of the tracks keeps detracking. So. The tracking mechanism here is pretty straightforward. It's pretty much managed by a grease gun. And you basically tension the track to whatever you want it to be at, and then that should be it. There isn't even really much for like seals or anything but I'm assuming that, you know, the pressure you shoot in with the grease, there must be a slow leak somewhere. I got to figure out which one's doing it and then take it apart. The problem is, and I want to be very careful, they don't make these Zerk fittings anymore. I've tried, because one of them is pretty fucking chewed up. So I'm hoping that's not the problem. If it is, I mean, I think there's probably some clever ways to get around it, but just initially offhand, it's a really long, it's like a really long shaft, and it actually has 2 different thread pitches on it for reasons why I don't know. So I can't just go get a bolt, drill a hole through it, and then weld on a Zerk fitting. So I got to be careful with that. Otherwise, you know, I mean, it's your typical probably 15,000 plus hours excavator. It's seen better days, but it gets the job done, and it honestly is the cheapest mini excavator money could buy. So, yeah, Bobcat on it. So, yeah. That should be it for now. Maybe later I'll give you a tour of the Japanese engine that's in it, but that'll be a different project. We gotta pound the dents out and maybe paint it first. So, yeah, I mean, this is the underside of it. So, see that shiny new hose? That's the new one. And then, you know, there's your swing circle, whatever it's called. I need to pressure wash it again. But, I mean, we can see some of those lines are wet. And if we were to crawl under it and look up, you can see the spool valves, and they're pretty moist. So, but, you know, barring that, it's in not bad shape. So, that's all I got for now. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you want. Comments on maybe anything you'd like to see on this, or if you have any knowledge on a machine like this old, or even like where to even start looking for parts. The swing assembly, I found a seal kit for it, but some of this other stuff I have no idea. I turn wrenches in my free time. I don't do this for a full-time job. So, cool. Well, I will catch you all in the next one.